Amani and Tano walked through the dense forest, their feet pressing into damp soil, their breath forming soft clouds in the cold night air. The moon was hidden behind thick clouds, leaving only the whispering trees to guide them. They had left the village far behind, but the weight of its fear still clung to them. Tano barely spoke. His fingers gripped Amani's hand tightly, as if afraid she would vanish if he let go. She understood. The song had lived inside him, twisted him, nearly taken him away. Even now, she could feel the lingering presence of something unseen, watching. The wind shifted, carrying a faint sound through the trees. Boom. 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 Amani froze. Her blood ran cold. It was impossible. The cursed drum had been destroyed. The spirits had been banished. The shadow figure had crumbled into dust. And yet, the song was still alive. Tano looked up at her, his small face pale in the darkness. "Did you hear it?" Amani forced a smile. It was just the wind. Tano didn't look convinced. They continued walking, deeper into the unknown. The Forgotten Shrine. By dawn, they reached a clearing. In the center stood something ancient, a shrine. The stone was cracked, covered in moss, forgotten by time. Strange carvings covered the walls, figures dancing, faces twisted in agony, hands raised toward an unseen force. Amani shivered. She had seen those faces before. Tano wandered closer, tracing the worn carvings with his fingertips. "This place feels old." Amani nodded. "It's sacred." But sacred to what? Something about the shrine made her uneasy. The air felt too thick, the silence too deep. Then, she saw it. A stone drum. It sat at the shrine's center, half buried in roots and leaves, as if the forest itself had tried to hide it. Unlike the cursed drum from the village, this one was cracked, broken. And yet, something about it felt alive. Tano stepped closer. "Amani. I know this place." She turned to him, her heartbeat quickening. "What do you mean?" His small hands trembled as he touched the drum. "I've seen it before. In my dreams." Amani's stomach tightened. "Before the cursed drum came to the village?" Tano nodded slowly. The air shifted. The trees whispered. The drum, though broken, seemed to breathe. Then, a low hum filled the air. Not a drum beat, not the cursed rhythm, but something older. A voice. Soft. Lingering. Calling. Tano gasped, his body going rigid. His eyes darkened. Amani grabbed him, shaking him. "Tano. Wake up." His lips moved. The voice was speaking through him. "You have returned. But you are not the first." Amani's heart pounded. "Who are you?" The voice laughed. "The song is not a curse. It is a memory. A warning. A door." The air rippled. The trees bent. The carvings on the shrine shifted, revealing something new. A second drum. Identical to the one that had cursed their village. Amani staggered back. "No. It can't be." The voice hummed. "The song never dies. It waits. It chooses. It sings." Tano's breath hitched. His fingers curled into fists. Then, the voice stopped. Tano blinked, his eyes returning to normal. His body sagged, weak. Amani caught him before he fell. "Tano?" He looked up at her, his face pale with fear. "Amani. The song wasn't meant to curse us." She frowned. "What do you mean?" Tano swallowed hard. "It was meant to protect us." The song's true purpose. Amani's mind raced. The cursed drum had summoned ghosts, twisted the village into an unholy dance, nearly taken Tano's soul. How could that be protection? She turned back to the shrine, studying the carvings more closely. The figures weren't just dancing. They were fighting. Not against the spirits, but against something worse. A shadow loomed in the background of the carvings, its form too large, too monstrous to be human. Amani's breath caught. This song. It wasn't a curse. It was a weapon. Tano nodded. "Something is coming, Amani." His voice trembled. "And we were never meant to stop the song. We were meant to play it." The wind howled. The trees bent low, as if bowing to something unseen. And then, the ground shook. Something deep in the earth stirred. Amani grabbed Tano's hand and ran. Because whatever the song had been protecting them from, it had just woken up.